Hey everyone, today we are going to be talking about what you need to consider when you are developing a content strategy for a B2C digital health company. There are certain things that are common with a content strategy no matter what the business model is, but there are certain distinctions that you have to consider if you are working in a B2C business model for your digital health company. So today we are going to dive into those differences pretty quickly. By the way, if this is your first time on the channel, I am NICHOLE. I'm a public health pharmacist turned healthcare copywriter and content strategist, and I help venture-backed digital health companies develop and execute culturally relevant content strategies so that they can generate brand awareness, build brand loyalty, and establish themselves as thought leaders. If this is up your alley, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so that you know when new content marketing tips are available for your health company. Now, the first question you might be asking is, why do I need a strategy at all? Let me explain. I know that the culture of a lot of digital health startups, and really startups in general, right, is to take an agile approach. So rather than creating this long, drawn out strategy, a lot of startups adopt the mindset of let's just put something out, throw it out there, see what works, see what doesn't, process that feedback, and tweak our approach based on that feedback, which totally makes sense from a startup perspective. But the thing is, that does not always translate to marketing. Marketing, if you are going to be utilizing your resources in the most effective and efficient way possible, then there is some degree of strategy that is required for that marketing to be effective, for you to get the information that you need back in order to make those changes and those tweaks to your marketing efforts. Having a strategy does not mean that your marketing plan is inflexible and written in stone. What it means is that you have an idea of who you are trying to attract and how you are going to try to attract them. It's really about the intentionality of the marketing efforts that you are going to be putting out there, the collateral that you are going to be producing. So here are the things that you need to consider when you are developing that content marketing strategy for your B2C or B2B2C digital health company. The first thing to consider is that content marketing is not just about creating content. Content marketing describes at least a 7-step process. Sometimes people break it out into even 8 or 9 steps, but those steps are going to include content strategy, content planning, then content creation, content distribution, content promotion, evaluation, and repurposing. So a key in developing your content strategy is realizing that that strategy does not just pertain to creation. It applies to everything that is downstream from the strategy steps. So all 6 of those steps need to be incorporated into your content marketing strategy. To develop that strategy, there are 2 core things that you need to do. The first thing that is extremely important is that you need to make sure your strategy aligns with a business goal. You are not creating content just for the sake of creating content. You are creating content as a marketing tool. So that means that content needs to be directly tied with a business goal that your health company has. The next thing that you have to do is to make sure to focus on 3 core elements. Those elements are your audience, your expertise, and your competition. Your audience is who you are talking to. Who is your ideal customer or client who is going to be using your service? You need to have a very clear picture of who that person is so that the content you create, the way that you distribute it, the way that you promote it, the words that you use, all of those are tailored to that very specific person. Your expertise is the product or the service that you offer, but it's not just the product or service, it's also what qualifies you to have developed that product or service. What makes you authoritative in that space? So is it that your team is clinical and has come directly from the hospital working with patients? Is it that your leadership has experienced the condition that this product or service is designed to treat? Is it that you have education in this subject? Is it that you have 20+ years of experience in this area? What makes you an expert in this particular area? And then of course, your competitors are the people who are offering a similar product or service for a similar audience. And it might sound counterintuitive to be focusing on what your competition is doing, but really the purpose of this is to figure out what your value proposition is. What is it that should make someone want to by your product or service compared to your competitors? How do you stand out? How are you different from them? How are you better than them? What gaps do they have, and how do you fill those gaps? And how do you communicate the way that you fill those gaps in your marketing collateral, in your content? So those are some of the things that need to go into your B2C content marketing strategy. But for B2C companies, you also have to consider your brand's personality, and you have to infuse that into your content marketing. And the reason for that is because people like to buy from other people, and a company is not another person, but a company's brand can take on the personality of someone else. And so you want to create that personality that your ideal client or customer is attracted to help draw them in and build that brand loyalty. So you want to make sure that you are injecting the personality, the style, the cultural elements into the content that you are creating and into that entire content strategy to make sure that you are building something that people are actually excited about. So this was just a broad overview of how you can create a better B2C content marketing strategy. But if it's something you would like to discuss in more detail, you can head to the description box for this video, click the link, and set up a 20-minute chat with me to find out if my quarterly content subscription would be a good fit for helping your company develop its own culturally relevant content strategy and actually execute that strategy through content creation. I look forward to seeing you next week.